So speaking of, racial matters, Trump is back on the warpath on immigration, and he is being accused of white supremacy. They always make this into a racial issue, which I don't think it is. But, he signed this budget bill that didn't included just a little bit of funding for the wall. And Ann Coulter went after him. I mean, first he was spanked by the porn star Stormy Daniels. Now he's been spanked by Ann Coulter. Come to think of it, he's living out my fantasy life. But here she was with Howie Carr on the radio. This is the first cut where she just really went after Trump.
Do you still believe that Trump is e pluribus awesome?
Not if he's not building the wall, and it sure doesn't look like he's building it now. It looks like he's just going to see how long he can take his voters for a ride. Maybe he'll come around, and I think it isn't helping to have these Cro-Magnons saying, "Oh no, it's 3D chess," and just applaud everything he does. I mean, voters, you got to put some pressure on him.
Did you call us deplorables Cro-Magnons?
No, I'm calling the people who go around claiming every time he destroys his presidency. No, it's really some complicated plot that will somehow inure to it. No, it isn't. No, it isn't. He's failing right now. The presidency isn't over yet. He can still come back and do it. But, people who voted for him shouldn't be cheering every time he betrays them. And this is a total betrayal for him to sign that bill. It is a total betrayal for him not to build the wall. And to pretend like it isn't, he can come back. And as I told the New York Times, if he does, I'll start a committee to put him on Mount Rushmore if he builds that wall. But right now, if you want to make a bet, I don't think we're getting a wall.
So let's play. She said apparently she got into an obscenity laced argument with him, and they were screaming curses at one another. But she says it's all right. He cursed at her first. So now there are 1,000 to 1,100 Central American refugees, whatever you want to call them. They're coming through Mexico up toward the border. And Drudge has got this being played like it's an invasion. He's saying how far away they are. They're getting closer. He's telling it. And now Trump is saying that he's going to send the military out there. And the media is basically saying, this is not an invasion. This is a protest they hold every year. And they just come out and they kind of ask to get asylum, political asylum, because they're coming from some very terrible places. But the people on the ground there, even the people who are sympathetic with them, basically saying they're coming in, some of them will ask for asylum, and then the rest are going to try and break across the border. And so Trump has got the army going down. And now that, the thing is, now that Trump called them out on it, Mexico is doing something about it, is trying to stop them and saying, no, you're not going to do it. So it's not the way, it's not as, it may not be quite as clear as Trump is saying, but it's certainly not as benign as the media is saying, the pro-immigration media. And of course, the left, if you want to know what the left thinks, you go to CNN and they're saying it's all about race. There's April Ryan and Jolly.
When they talk about wanting educated and wealthy immigrants only, they're talking about white. They're not talking about bringing diversity into the country. Donald Trump is playing to this base instinct that is wrong and immoral.
And what you said, it speaks more about
controlling the browning of America.
Controlling the browning of America. That's what he's trying to do. The thing about this is, sometimes the right talks like this too. I've heard the right talk about all these people coming in and, it's getting rid of our culture and all this. But it really is about culture and ideas. It's not about race. But the idea here is the rule of law. And this is something that the Democrats, the left, has lost entirely. The idea that only a nation of laws, not a nation of men, is a fair nation. Only a nation of laws is an equal nation. If there is a law that will put me in prison, like say, putting out classified information or misusing classified information, then that law should put Hillary Clinton in prison too. And it shouldn't vanish because she's powerful and I'm just me. That's not the way that's supposed to work. And when there is a law, the law is supposed to be enforced. But with Barack Obama, he would just say, well, we're not going to enforce that law. The family, law that was deemed to be anti-gay, we're just not going to enforce it. And now it's like, we're not going to enforce the border. We don't need this. We need the voters. We want those voters to come in, so we're not supposed to enforce it. And the people on the right, like the Wall Street Journal, who are very supportive of even illegal immigration, really should get their minds right, because the question is not who is coming and how many are coming. The question is, who do we want? How many do we want? And what law should we pass, right? Because once the law is passed, they should obey the law and the border. Look, I'm not saying we should go to war with these guys coming up from Mexico. I'm just saying that they should obey the law just like everybody else. And Trump is just right about this. Now, there are plenty of people, I'm sure, who hear this and it touches off some racist thing in them and it makes them happy. But that's not the point. The point is the rule of law.